everybody. Hope you're all doing well. It's Friday. I'm wearing black. That means it's time for Hamlet. As always, the monologue is in the description below, so take a moment to pause me, read it, and then come on back. So, today we are looking at the character of Horatio, who, frankly, I'm shocked I've not mentioned him sooner, because he's probably one of, if not the most important person in the play after Hamlet. Why? He's Hamlet's best friend, and he's also the only person Hamlet trusts. He's the only person that Hamlet is completely open and honest with that isn't the audience. And the audience doesn't exactly count most of the time. So yeah, Horatio is super important. He's also ridiculously important because without Horatio, Hamlet would never have learned about the ghost. Because the monologue that we're looking at today from Act 1, Scene 2 is when Horatio shows up and says, "Hey, Hamlet, buddy, the ghost of your father's wandering around the castle at night. You might want to check it out." And here's the important thing about this, because we know then that because Horatio tells Hamlet this, Hamlet goes out at night, meets the ghost. We've done that monologue, so we know what happens there. The ghost tells Hamlet, "Hey, guess what? Your uncle murdered me, so could you please go avenge my murder?" Which leads to everything else in the play. So without Horatio taking this moment to tell his friend about this, the rest of the play doesn't happen. Who knows what happens to Hamlet then? Maybe he just mopes about for the rest of his life. Maybe other things happen, we don't know. But we do know that Horatio does come and say this, and it does spur Hamlet on, and we get the play. Now, here's the thing about this, is we have to look at how Shakespearean England and how people thought about spirits and ghosts during that time. So there were two things that this ghost could possibly be. One, it could be Hamlet's father. That is the number one possibility here. It actually is Hamlet's dad wandering the halls of his old palace as a ghost. That's a possibility. It also could be a devil in disguise, being there to try and lure someone out to trick them into doing evil. Both of these things would have been possibilities to the Elizabethan mindset. And in fact, that's why Hamlet kind of does the play within the play and other things throughout it, is because he thinks that possibly this might be a devil and he wants to test it. We've talked about that a little bit before, but that's not important here. What is important is that Horatio had a decision to make. Horatio is brought out in the middle of the night in Act 1, Scene 1 to see this ghost by a couple of guardsmen. They brought him out because he's college educated and they think he's smart enough maybe he can figure out what's going on here. And he looks at it, and because he's Hamlet's good friend, he knows what Hamlet's father looked like. He's very, very familiar with Hamlet's dad and is like, "Yeah, no, that's totally Hamlet's father. We should talk to the prince about this." And when he does, though, he has to make that decision. Does he tell Hamlet, because if this is his father's ghost, then that's a beautiful thing for his friend who has been very mopey and depressed, because then his friend gets one more chance to talk with his father. He gets a chance to say goodbye properly, which he didn't get to do because his father just so suddenly died. Hamlet was probably at college when it happened, and so he wasn't even around when everything went down. However, at the same time, Horatio's smart enough to know that it might not be Hamlet Sr. It might be a devil. And if he tells his friend about this and it turns out that it is a devil and leads him down an evil path, then it's on Horatio for telling him this. So I think in this monologue there's a sense of hesitation in it, because there's a moment of, "Look, Hamlet, I think you need to know this, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I know that there are 1,000,005 ways this could go wrong. It could not be your father. It could be another type of apparition trying to trick you. It could be a devil trying to get you to commit evil. There's so much that could happen here, but at the same time, you need to know because you need to have this opportunity to maybe say farewell." So, let's take a look at how this goes, all right? 2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead, vast, and middle of the night been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, cap a pie, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes within his truncheon's length, whilst they distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear. Stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did, and I with them the third night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like. And that's Horatio. We'll see you again on Monday with a different monologue. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Bye!